recently, I think it was Monday. That's when I saw the article. Was Monday.
Yeah.
A dude jumped off a bridge in Disneyland.
Whoa.
To kill himself. Basically, he was suicidal. His backstory is that he was a principal for a school for like 26 years, 50-year-old man. So like, why is this dude committing suicide? Right.
Yeah.
So when I first saw the news article, it had to do something with men's mental health and women, against that mental health, whatever the case may be. By the way, did you know November was Men's Mental Health Month? No. I bet you didn't. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, very interesting.
How it doesn't get brought up.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So, I'm sorry to all the viewers. Trigger warning, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm about to read the suicide note from this guy, and I want to get your guys' reactions. He posted this on Facebook, and then he jumped off the bridge. So,
with that disclaimer, just saying, if you are thinking any type of way like that, please call somebody.
100%.
Don't just go through it by yourself.
Yeah.
Call somebody. Somebody's always going to be there for you.
Yeah. And this is a real problem with men because men do not feel as if there are people for them or they don't want to look for help even. I think it's not that men don't have people for them. It's the fact that there's a stigma against men finding help. Men are supposed to. You're supposed to figure this out yourself. How dare you? How dare you look for help, right?
Yeah.
But that goes into a whole nother conversation. But anyways, please keep this up for the least amount of time possible, purely because I don't want viewers to see a fucking suicide note. I'll read it, but don't keep it on screen for very long because I feel bad leaving a fucking suicide note on screen. Okay, so I'm going to read it. There's 4 pictures. I'm going to read it as fast as possible.
Okay.
I hate when people leave this earth with so many unanswered questions, so I hope this provides some insight and perspective. This is my wife, Marlena. There, he attached a photo, but of course they're not releasing that photo for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yes, you heard me correctly. Most of you don't know this, but we've been privately married for 3.5 years. Marlena and I love and adore each other, and our relationship has been amazing up until recently. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, she and I got in a heated argument at home in front of the girls. Tempers were flared and strong words were engaged between us. However, never in this exchange did I hit, slap, or hurt Marlena in any manner, nor did I touch the girls. I have and never will. I love the girls like my own, and they know that, as everyone else who truly knows me. So I guess Marlena had kids before this marriage, this private marriage, right? Unfortunately, Marlena's anger got the best of her that night, and she called the police, which landed me in jail that night. Yes, me, a man who has never hit or harmed anyone in his life. I think it's safe to say that Marlena truly regrets making that call because the events of that night have completely unraveled both of our lives. I am on the brink of losing my job, as I am out on administrative leave until my case is resolved. Remember, this guy's a principal. So as soon as you get thrown in jail as a principal, you're getting put on administrative leave. However, the legal system is extremely flawed, especially against men and fathers, and it's sickening how quickly and easily an innocent man can be thrown in jail based on zero evidence or proof. In fact, take a look at the attached screenshots of Marlena's message to my friend about the matter. I don't have those. She too had no intention on having that night come this far. She knows that I would never hurt her or the girls, and she too has been trying to clear my name with little success. Again, the legal system is deeply flawed, to say the least. So here I am writing my final Facebook message to all of you. I need all of you to know that I am a gentle, kind, loving, and sincerely good man. That has been destroyed by one unfortunate night. It is true. It is really unfortunate. This is not me. This is not something that I have ever thought would happen to me. Take care, everyone. Please, please, please be kind to one another. Treat each other with kindness and grace. There is too much anger in this world, and people need to start treating each other better. What I've shared with you above is a prime example of how anger can really have a long-lasting and extremely dangerous effects on a person's life. Jesus Christ.
I'm speechless.
Genuinely.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit hit me. I was reading that shit on my break. I was like, God damn. God damn. So there's a few things I want to note on because I've had more time to think about this because I saw it. I'm going to pull it up again. Let me find the screen, the one I was talking about. Okay, so right here, I don't have the screenshots. I'm assuming the messages that he's talking about are talking about the woman being regretful that she called the police. But at the same time, even though I do think emotions go wild sometimes, I don't see how it goes to the point of calling the cops unless something actually happens.
Yeah.
Like, even if he didn't hit them or attack them at all, like he picked up a weapon or something, right?
Yeah.
Just to give that side of the story. Even if she's regretful, I feel like you don't reach the point of calling the cops unless, maybe I'm wrong, but unless something, so I think there is two sides to every story, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, even if anything, right, this shows the issue with men's mental health.
Did it on the happiest place on earth.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Walt Disney is frozen, by the way. And but he was an educator for 21 years. Mm-hmm. Keep in mind that probably led to his suicide a little bit because being an educator for that long is hell.
Yeah.
Because the school system stinks. But he felt as if, I don't know this dude's life, but it seemed like he had a decent life. He was married for 3.5 years. He was a principal.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah. And he had one mess up. Keep that in mind that this was a big mess up. Like he got thrown in jail. Even though I think he would have been able to come back fine if there was no evidence of him doing anything and the wife went back on it. Like, I did not mean for it to go this far. I think he would have been fine to go back to his job. But he came across this boundary in his life. And because men's mental health is so discriminated against, I'll go with, he felt his only option was killing himself. Yeah. He felt his only option was leaving.
There was no direction to turn.
And that there was, but I think men aren't taught that there are multiple directions.
Yeah.
I'm sure he felt as if he was an embarrassment to the wife and the kids. And men aren't, taught at all to redeem themselves. It's more as you mess up once, you're out. Because that's how men are taught. As sad as that is, that's how it is. I'm sure any man can agree on that. The fact that men aren't supposed to mess up. And if you do, you're an absolute and complete failure.
Supposed to be like, what, robots?
Yeah, to an extent. But men aren't taught how to cope with their emotions at all.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that the entire culture is, surrounding that as well, right? We talked about this maybe on a previous show or in private or whatever.
Yeah.
If a man has a problem, he cannot go to another man because it's biological as well. It's culture and biological that if you go to a man with your problems, the men will see you as weak. Mm-hmm. That's how it is. That's biological as well because innately, men are supposed to be alpha.
Yeah.
So you can't show any signs of weakness.
I mean, but what if they have like a real issue and they go like to another guy, like
That's what I'm saying. I think that stigma is dumb. I believe it's very dumb. Mm-hmm. There's some biological there, but it's also the culture. If you go to if you have a close friend that you go to or like a close group, there's not going to be a problem with you as long as they don't have. Let me restart here. If your friend group has a problem with you going to with them with problems, leave that friend group. They are not good people.
Good situation.
They are not good for you.
Nope.
You should surround yourself with people that genuinely want to make sure your mental health is good, right? The sad thing is some people, I don't know if he did, but maybe he didn't have anyone to go to. Who knows? I don't know. He was talking about being in a band and stuff, so it's like you clearly had the bandmates if you needed to.
Yeah.
But as a man, it's very hard to open up.
Yeah. And there's no real good option for you or anybody to really open up to. Like you said, if you don't have a good friend group to open up to at all, who will accept your problems, to help you out, talk you through it, whatever. Because let's say you got a girl. You don't want to open up to your girl. Even though the whole movement right now is like, oh, express your emotions and stuff. No, because then, whether you may not realize it or not, psychologically, you're more now inclined to think less of that person, to think more of the man. Oh, you're not much of a man.
Even if it's subconscious.
Even if it's subconscious.
We have to preface that.
It's just what happens. You don't want you can't talk to your mom typically because you don't want your mom to see you in that vulnerable, weak state or whatever, right? So, what are your two options now? Father, maybe. I can't really think anything against it right now, personally. And then your friends, your boys or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, and you don't have, let's say, because a lot of times fathers may not be in life, that's true. Vice versa can be true also. But there is no real good option here because you don't want anybody around you to see you as weak or lesser than. And though I don't think it's to a point where you're like, oh, express your emotions like some females or whatever they may make it seem like. I also don't think it's, man up, deal with it. There's like a middle ground where you need to be taught, okay, this is what you're feeling, this is how you cope with that, this is how you deal with that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I agree. I think, well, we've talked about this privately as well, which is, and I want to bring it up on the show, which is that middle ground, right?
Yeah.
The whole man up thing is very dangerous.
Yeah.
That shit is very dangerous. But I do think there's a little bit of that exists because I think men as well, you need to be strong. That's the point, right? You need to be strong. And it's less about not showing your emotions and ignoring them and more about finding your way to cope with them, right?
Yeah.
You want to cope with the emotions, not just completely ignore them.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I think the whole woman movement about like men showing emotion and like, oh, we want you guys to open up is men and women experience emotions way differently. I'm not going to speak on the woman. I'm going to purely speak on the man here.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to let me know here if I'm right or wrong. The first emotion any man feels is anger.
Correct.
Immediately anger.
Yeah, fair.
It's whether or not you cope with that anger. Anything happens, like genuinely anything, my first instinct is anger.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, if you are if you're wanting to be successful or you want to be a mature dude, you immediately shut down that anger and think about it.
Yeah.
You don't just let that anger take over you.
Yeah. Make it a drive.
It could literally be something that's sad, right? My immediate thought is anger. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's the first emotion I feel, right? You know, that could be because of testosterone or whatever. Who knows? I don't care about the biological. I'm just saying my personal experience is that if I see, if let's say someone that I know dies, the first thing I feel is anger. It's not even sadness. It's just anger. But then you learn that, okay, that's not anger. It's not supposed to be anger. It's supposed to be sadness.
Yeah.
And you have your own individual way, even if it's subconscious, to align that emotion in the correct way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think there is some truth to the whole man up thing as well, because it's like, as cliche as this is, the world doesn't want men to not cope with their emotions and show it, because it's purely anger straight out the gate.
Yeah.
The world should want men to be aware of their mental health and stuff, but also not show it right away, because it will be a dangerous.
I see. So more like being like a stoic man, so where you feel your emotions, but you don't more so react to them, because with everybody, when you get angry, you can feel it, but it's up to you whether you react to the emotion or you let it pass by, and you'll calm down. But I think Jordan Peterson said it best, where a weak man is the man that doesn't know how to control their emotions, because they're very dangerous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The man that more so can control their emotions is a more I forgot the last line.
I don't know that one, honestly. The only one that you bringing up Jordan Peterson reminded me is when he, for example, I've heard him say many times, a man should be dangerous, but learn to control it.
Right. Yeah.
Learn to control that dangerousness.
I wish I could finish that quote for you, but I only know that first part as well. But basically, he goes along the lines of saying a man who controls their emotions is, going to be more successful or going to be better off, basically.
More happy in general.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think that's the thing, though, is I don't know if stoic's the right way, because the actual definition of stoic, I believe, is you have no emotion.
Yeah.
I think it's important for a man to have emotions. You just have correctly analyzed your emotions and applied the logic behind it, right?
Right.
You need to be logical about your emotions, and I think that applies to man or woman. Because it's important to analyze your emotions. You can't just go everywhere with them.
Yeah, like a person who like burst out in anger.
Yeah,
you know, like,
yeah.
More so, that's what I mean, like being stoic, where you see, like, you feel the emotion, but you don't do anything about it. You just breathe.
You think about it first, right?
Yeah.
And if there's a trouble with like that, I would say breathing techniques do definitely work.
Oh, 100%.
You know, I feel like if you want to start anywhere, you start with learning how to breathe, because not many people, I feel like, know that there's breathing techniques to calm them down, or to make them more faster at, or more focused on something.
Yeah. I think. Go. Oh, you were gonna say something?
The only thing I was gonna say honestly was that I didn't realize it until you had said it, but you're right about the first emotion you feeling being anger, because like even for example like when I lose somebody, they pass away and stuff like that, I'm not sad and stuff. I'm like first things first, I feel angry.
Yeah.
Legit, and maybe not at anybody or anything like that. Sometimes I was angry at myself legitly because didn't talk to him enough, didn't do enough, whatever the situation is. But it didn't click in my head really until you said that. I was like, is the spit?
I don't think. Maybe anger. I think anger is like the general term.
Yeah.
But like to explain to women, it's hard.
Yeah.
I've tried to do this before at work and stuff to the other girls on the staff and stuff. Is like that is the first emotion. But I don't know if it's anger, because like I feel like anger has to be directed at something. It's just like the feeling of like heat.
Yeah.
Like irritability.
Like
It's the same thing as anger. It's the same feeling as anger. It's just like heat. Like it clogs your brain. It fogs you. It's just like heat.
Yeah.
It's not even necessarily like. It's not even anger, because like you're not angry at anything.
No.
It's literally just like you're just mad. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a weird feeling.
Like irritated.
Yeah, irritated, but like it's deeper than irritated, because it's like irritated. I'm like, God damn it. But like if someone dies, I'm not saying God damn it. I'm just like, I'm mad. Like it's like weird.
It's weird to say angry, just because like I feel like when somebody thinks of angry, like, oh, I want to break something. I want to. Yeah.
It's not even.
That's not what that. That's not
it's
what
not even like that.
It's not like oh, I want to hurt someone. I want to do like no. That's
but
not.
But if you acted on what you feel in that moment, then it would be anger.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Where's the anger coming from?
That's what I'm saying. It's just like that's just like the emotion that immediately hits first.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like the anger just exists. Like that feeling of like clogged is just the first thing you feel in any situation. Yeah. Which is why it's important to reason with that, even if it's subconscious. Because I feel like when you're young, you have to reason with yourself. But then when you're like our age, it just naturally swaps, or like you already know how to do it. Your brain already like just deals with it, right? Yeah. So it's important to be aware of your emotions, but not completely cut them out, and not necessarily. You want to be aware of them, but you don't want to cut them out, or you don't want to show them 100%, because both are very bad. You kind of want to sit in the middle, where you first reason with them. Okay, is this a reasonable way to feel? Yes. Okay, now I'm going to do something about it. Or should I really be feeling this way? Probably not. I probably should not act on it. So I'm just going to push it to the side, but in a good way. I'm pushing it to the side because I've relieved myself of that feeling, right?
Yeah.
So I think someone said, I think it was Andrew Tate, but this is absolutely, I'm not confirming this, right? I have no idea. But I think he said that's why there's so much men violence in the world, is because it's from the people that can't control it.
I think he did.
You don't want men showing their emotion. That's why violence is so high right now, because people are pushing the fact that, we want men to show emotions. Well, this is what happens, like school shootings and stuff, is what happens when a young kid is told to show his emotion, but he hasn't matured enough to be able to comprehend it yet.
Yeah.
Right? There's so much more that goes into that. I'm not discrediting bullying or anything like that. I'm just saying you want men to be aware of their mental health and emotion, but not completely disregard thinking about it. Yeah. Oh, I want men to show their emotion. Yeah, I mean, you really don't. It's not a good thing
at all.
And that's not being like some weird like oh, men are the villain. Like, we have to be the villain. It's just like, that's straight up how it is.